Hi, Kevin.
Everyone, hi.
Hi.
Can you come?
Guess we're waiting for a few more people. For vague pictures, would you like to rename yourself? So if you'd like to participate in the conversation.
Sure. Here, hold on. Kevin knows us. Hi,
Hey
Kev.
guys, how's New Jersey?
We're collaborators with Kevin. So
Yeah, these are
Chelsea
producer
and Sebastian. Sebastian shot his last film.
Hello.
and Chelsea
And I-
produced it.
Yeah.
Sebastian and Chelsea, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for joining. And I guess we can get started. Unless people are, do you think people are taking a little break from after just
Yeah,
watching the
sure.
Yeah.
How's Santa Barbara?
Good. It's nice.
We miss you.
I know. I miss you guys. No seasons here.
We'll see you soon, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's true. That's true.
I don't know how to do backgrounds.
I don't either.
Jaclyn, is there a time limit for this too, or?
I'm thinking about like 40 minutes. The workshops usually go 40 minutes.
Okay.
But if we end a little earlier, then I think that's okay too. But hopefully there's a few people who RSVP'd on Eventbrite. So I just wanted to give them some time before we,
Sure.
got into our discussion.
Definitely.
In case they had something they wanted to ask you. Was this the first time you heard a Vietnamese ghost story read out loud?
Yeah. It's a pretty early draft, and so yeah, it was definitely the first time. I think the first time since like film school that anything's been read like by multiple actors, but by multiple people. So it was super great to have that.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
No, for sure. Yeah, definitely. It's helpful. Like just hearing like the spoken word that in your head, that you think that it's like two separate voices, but then when you hear it read, it's like it makes it come to life, and what's not working is way more obvious than when you actually write it down or when you're just reading it. So yeah.
I'm glad it's helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
For you. Yeah. Guess we can give it a couple more minutes and then maybe start it at 8 and
Okay.
Yeah.
I see that there's a fourth person in the group.
Yes.
Okay. Kyle, would you like to say hi? We're friendly.
You're right.
What's up, guys? I'm Quan.
Wow.
Hi, Kwa.
I'm another fellow Vietnamese guy.
Yeah.
I guess.
Nice to meet you. Thanks
Nice
for
to
being
meet you
here.
guys. Yeah, no problem. It's
Where
great.
are you?
Thanks for...
Where are you tuning in from?
I'm in Jersey, and I think
nice.
somebody else over here was in Jersey,
Yeah,
right?
these guys are in Jersey.
Yeah, we're in Atlantic Highlands. Where are you?
Oh, nice. I'm a little north of you guys. I'm in Cranford.
Oh,
cool.
yeah,
So no ocean view.
Nice.
Yeah, we're very fortunate for that here.
You guys okay after the storm? After Ida?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. We didn't have power for a while, but it was from a different storm actually. Our neighborhood is known for having no power, kind of like Kevin's script.
Yeah.
And, Kevin actually shot his last movie here in our neighborhood, using all of our neighbors' houses, and it was really fun. Like it was like a neighborhood project. It was really cute.
Yeah. I love New Jersey for that reason.
Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, a lot of friendly neighbors, I guess. Let them in your house and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Literally.
Yeah.
Underground tunnels. I see. Okay, that's cool.
How did you hear about the project, or just from? Are you an actor? Are you a filmmaker?
I'm an actor as well. I've been part of Film Lab for quite some time, way back in the days, and I just kind of, kind of left it for a while. I have a family, and I don't know, a lot of life stuff sort of takes you in a different direction. But to answer your question, it was through the email.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously I was intrigued just from straight up, just from a Vietnamese standpoint,
For sure.
So as I'm listening to the reading, I'm like, yep, I know all those words. I know grandmothers, and I know food, and I'm like, I know all the stories in Cali, and I'm like, everything is relatable. So
Great.
It's kind of cool. From that
really, I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess since there's just the 4 screen of us, like what was your background to writing this story, to sort of starting, what was your base foundation of starting this story particularly?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I've always been interested in film, and as like a filmmaker in high school and college, I don't think I've ever written anything that was like personally about me, my identity of being Vietnamese before. And it kind of took until, very, not too long ago, maybe the past year, to kind of exploring the side of my family and where they're from and all that stuff. And when I started doing that, I realized like there's so much that I didn't know, and I was wondering why that was, and just started asking family members and exploring that element. There's kind of just like a lot that was kind of hidden for like, because it's traumatic, or it was difficult to talk about when I was younger, and maybe now it's easier to talk about it with my parents. So yeah, it was just kind of a thing that I wanted to explore, and to do it in a film. I think like ghost elements. I don't know if your family has ever talked about having like kind of supernatural. My family's super spiritual and superstitious, and so it was something that kind of felt right in to explore trauma and memories in terms in like the genre of a movie, like a horror movie, was kind of where it all kind of began.
Yeah, no, my mom is very superstitious.
Yeah.
We were all born in Vietnam, so it's just there's a lot of superstition about what my mom believes in. I mean, it's kind of a funny story, but to give you an example, like my wife is Caucasian, but when I first mentioned her to my mom, the first thing was, does your girlfriend have high cheekbones? I was like, what? What? High cheekbones? What does that have to do with? Don't you want to know her name, or like if she's nice? But long story short, she, for some reason, I don't know where she got this info from, but she's like, if you marry this girl and your wife has high cheekbones, then you as a man will die early in life. I was like, what in the world are you talking about?
Where did that come from? Yeah.
Oh.
And I just had a baby, and my mom was like, if he's born on the 17th of February, like, good luck, like total, like, but if it was like the 18th, probably not, and like 20th is probably not a good date, but he was born on the right day. But so hopefully that's like good fortune or something.
On the right day, according to your mom, right?
My mom, yeah, which is some other thing.
Any
but,
day is the right day.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, so yeah, it was kind of I always remember thinking of ghost stories growing up and hearing my aunts talk about it. And I know that's like I think there's a lot of things being written about it now from a lot of like well-known authors. So it's something to explore. But I've never seen a movie that is about this. And I've never seen like an American movie with like an all Asian cast that was a horror film. And so I thought, there's an opportunity there, and I think people might be interested in it. And and so the script is about like this family. I hope that it's relatable. And I lost my train of thought.
No, you were just talking about, it's about the family and all Asian horror. And I was going to say, like Shang-Chi kind of blew up with an all Asian, but obviously not horror. But it is an intriguing point from our culture standpoint that there is a lot of background story to it. Because I mean, I remember growing up just walking across like a train track in Saigon, and there's like a Buddhist temple nearby, and all you could ever smell every day, all day was incense burning. And different kids would always make fun and create these like stories of haunted beings or ghosts near the train track or the Buddhist temple. So I can still smell the incense when I even think about it. So there's definitely an element of that in our culture back then.
I mean, I think it's so prominent in the culture that the challenge for the script was trying to make it scary, because I think in Vietnamese culture it's kind of so common that it's not really scary, because it's like family members. It's kind of like more kind of it's spooky, but it's not like Saw, or like it's not like what you think of as like a commercial horror film, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So Kevin, we have a few questions that have come from people on Twitter, and it's actually relating to what we were just talking about. And it says that this person says, "Hi, my name is Derek. This is a question for the writer Kevin. I know ghosts are a big deal in Vietnamese culture, and it's considered bad luck not to have proper burial and stuff, or your ghost is wandering around and sad. This was a big issue after and during the Vietnamese War. Was that part of your motivation for the title and script?"
Well, the title is it's kind of a play off of like a really famous film called A Chinese Ghost Story. I just changed it to a Vietnamese. I just wanted it to be kind of like an homage to that. But I mean, tradition is really important. I just came back from a funeral recently, and there was just so much ceremony, and it's just like, as a wedding is, it's like a enormous life event. And so I think it's just the idea of dying in memory is just like something that I think about constantly, just outside of this project. And so it's just something I like to explore in movies, and that's kind of where it began.
Okay, thank you. So can you actually walk us through like what happens? We only read the first 41 pages.
Sure.
And so if you would be able to give us a brief synopsis of what happens after when the reading ends, can you take us to the end of the script, please?
Yeah. So it's about this family who's the mother, the matriarch of the family, passes away. And after she passes away, these kind of, I don't know, for the main character Fung, she's not sure if it's a real ghost, or if she's not sleeping, or if it's just visions that she's seeing. But her brother and her cousin are also having similar visions, and so obviously something is happening. And so it's kind of about the three of them that have a really fractured relationship kind of working together in order to go through, you know, the collective kind of family trauma that they're kind of forgetting or trying to forget, that won't let go of them. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to explore with this, like this idea of trying to forget painful memories, and if you can do that, and what could happen if you keep them buried, you know. And so yeah, it's just these visions are kind of forcing them to deal with these ideas. And I don't know if you want to know specifically what happens, but there's a big blackout that occurs, and kind of like memories kind of flood into the house, like literally, where ghosts happen and they're kind of forced to remember what happened to them, how their family got there, you know, why certain like kind of abuse happens in kind of generationally in the script, and so why that happens. And so I think a lot is revealed through that kind of climactic event.
Okay, thank you. So, you know, Kevin, one question I had when I was reading this, and also when I was listening to the reading, is what year does it take place? Do you have a specific year set in mind?
I mean, my family is from like Little Saigon. It's like 2 hours away from here, and I have a lot of family still there. So it's kind of about my memories growing up. So around like early 2000s. So when basically when I'm Carol's age, which is the young girl in there, and it's kind of about growing up, kind of like in that generation where your parents like lived through this traumatic thing and they don't talk about it, and she's kind of left in the dark of like, why is everyone so tense, and like, why is everyone acting this way, you know? So I think with my first film, like there's teenage skateboard, and a lot of it has to do with my memories of a certain setting, or a certain kind of memory of growing up in a certain environment.
Okay. If anyone has any questions, you know, there's only 5 of us. We're really a small group, so feel free to unmute and introduce yourself.
Findora, thanks for joining us.
Yes, hi, welcome. So yeah, if you have any questions, or if you have any anything you would like to tell Kevin, I know he was interested in if there were any parts of the reading of the script that were either unnecessary or were confusing, that you know might want to bring to his attention, and we can give him some feedback or talk about that.
Hi, I loved it. I thought the writing was beautiful and I can relate to it. I'm first generation Vietnamese American. My parents fled the Vietnam War, and I have family in Little Saigon, and I spent a lot of time there, and the actors did an amazing job, so thank you. I was driving I was driving my kid, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, did it cut out or did I not? But you only read the first 41 pages, was that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay, cool. Because I was like, oh my gosh, like Mommy's got to drive. And then when I came in, like I didn't have my computer, and so like I just did it on the phone. And so I'm sorry for the interruption. But yeah, like how you explain the exteriors and interiors, and I liked how you talked about the food, like everything I understood. And I don't think that's just because I'm Vietnamese American. And as a parent, like I appreciated Carol's role, like all the roles. But yeah, she's not understanding the tension. And it's like this this trauma that's passed on from generation to generation that like I can't fully understand because I'm too scared to go there with my parents and have them relive it. So like that was I don't know, for lack of a better way to say it, like tenderly written. And again, like the actors did such a great job of like bringing that to the work. Anyways, I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm
No,
really excited
thanks.
for you.
Thank you so much for saying that, because that means a lot, because I have a 7-month-old son, and I think about kind of what I bring to the table as a father, and like if I'm passing on any baggage that wasn't dealt with when I grew up, and that's a big part of what I'm trying to like talk about in the screenplay.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you and
Yeah, thanks.
birth of your child, and
Yeah.
it's good that you're aware of that, and this piece will bring awareness to other people.
Yeah, I hope so.
Like, can't just block it out. It's in our blood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when do we get to hear so I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
When do we get to hear the rest of the story? Like I know you give us an idea.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear the rest.
Yeah, no, well, I'm workshopping, I'm rewriting the screenplay and workshopping it more, and I'm sure there'll be like a full reading down the road. If you could email, or if there's a chat here, you could send me your email. I could let you know when that happens, or
okay, cool.
Or yeah, I can just email you the full script if you want to read that.
I'm Terry. No, we actually corresponded one time.
Oh.
My husband named my phone Gryffindor.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, right. Oh, sorry. Yeah, nice to meet you. Oh, great.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Kevin, for further reading, are you gonna go through the film lab again, or would you, as far as the rest of the story goes?
Right. No, I think there's a group called the Song Collective that is like kind of a Vietnamese artists of all like poetry, writers, actors, and they've reached out and were interested. And so I think the next full reading will be with like real Vietnamese actors performing the script when I revise it. Yeah. So yeah, this is like a very early draft. So
if we leave like an email address, you might be able to send like a link or
for sure, yeah,
future invites for other,
Yeah, drop your email in the chat, and I'll definitely reach out for when that happens. Yeah.
And by the way, you'll be fine with your kid. I have 2 boys. They're solid. So.
Yeah, I know, but like I think my first screenplay was about as Sebastian and Chelsea was about like becoming a father and like losing your freedom and all that stuff, and this one is about like a wholly different element of being a parent. And I think I'm realizing that I'm just making films about like my anxieties about being a father.
Listen, man, if that's a venue to get it out, then hey, just do it.
It's my therapy, I guess.
But yeah, it'll be good. I went the opposite of what my parents did with me with my sons, so kind of like what you were alluding to, just like, am I giving them any baggage? And for me to not give my kids baggage, I went the opposite direction, which is like my parents said no to everything before I would even finish my sentences. They would say no to everything. So I'm like a yes man, like the Jim Carrey movie. I'm like yes to everything. So you'll be good to go.
Thanks. Yeah, it's good to hear.
Kevin, has anyone in your family read the script?
No. No, I should send it I'll send it around.
How's it been home in Santa Barbara? Kevin just moved back to where he grew up. How has it been home in Santa Barbara, like now thinking about the script and like revisiting all the scenes? And
I definitely see it like coming to life more, because as a broke independent filmmaker, you kind of like see like, how am I gonna make this thing with the resources that I have? And then I have a huge family here in Southern California, and so like it's like, oh, I could shoot it there, or like like there's all these resources that I have here that I'm really grateful for, that like I can kind of interweave kind of 2 parts of my world, like my life that was separate before, like movies, my career, and then my family. And so it's now kind of like for the first time like kind of coming together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, Kevin, you did such a wonderful job drawing us into the Nguyen family and to their story, and like making us really feel like we were there with them in the kitchen and the optometrist office and the car at the school. And I really liked how you just for me personally, just drew me into the story and had me really caring about the family members. And so my question to you is, I wonder if you plan to, as you keep working on your script, if you plan to talk more about Chi's backstory, like her childhood and, you know,
Yeah.
her growing up and, you know, just how she developed into, you know, the woman she is today. And
Yeah.
I'm just so curious to know more about her, and then, you know, the future. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, cousins are a huge part of me growing up. Like I have tons of aunts and uncles, and I have thousands, like hundreds of cousins. And so like having a cousin relationship in the screenplay was really important to me. So yeah, the second half, when she returns back into Feng's life, they reconnect, and you kind of learn more about what happens to her family, like her immediate family, because she lost both of her parents on the way to coming here. And so it's kind of about how that kind of messed her up and how she is dealing and growing from that. And so that is definitely like a big part of the second act that I also want to develop in like the next versions of the screenplay. Yeah, because I think a lot of people connect to her character, oddly. Yeah, she's kind of yeah, like a fragile character.
Fragile and beautiful, like
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah, very delicate. So what I noticed, well, is you know, if you were reading, watching the reading, one may not, you wouldn't know, but Kevin actually had some parts, some scenes that were supposed to be speaking in Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And they were written in the script in red. And so I just wanted to ask you to walk us through the thought process, like why you chose certain dialogue to be spoken in Vietnamese. Like one point that when the scene between Min and Quan, when Min was asking for money, that is originally supposed to be spoken in Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Why would you, like, can you just walk us through like why certain scenes or certain dialogue spoken in Vietnamese?
Well, logistically, it's all English in the script because most people can understand Vietnamese, but it's just kind of the way that Vietnamese people talk. Like we like talk behind other people's back. And for me, I speak English with my parents, and they speak Vietnamese to me. So that kind of dynamic with Carol and her mom just feels natural to me. And it's just like certain things like don't really translate, and so you say them in English, you know. But Min is like a character in the screenplay that's also very like based on me because he's like kind of Anglophied, like he's kind of like whitewashed. He's kind of trying to push aside his background in order to achieve in his career or whatever. So I wanted also that to be reflected. So he's kind of like a Vietnamese person that's very much trying to be more westernized.
So when he asked for the money in Vietnamese, like because it's interesting because Phong obviously speaks Vietnamese, that's her brother. So that made me think like, why would, you know, if he's trying to be secretive about it or keep it
well, you can go back and forth, you know, with the language, and so you say certain things in Vietnamese that you wouldn't say in English. I am that way. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. So
because I asked my parents for money and I said
so you mentioned that this is you're at the beginning in your process. Like, is this your very first draft of the script?
No, it's like a 6th or 7th draft. I felt ready enough to like show actors and have it read aloud and see where I get it. And I didn't really do this with my first feature that we worked on. I showed Chelsea and Sebastian and they gave me notes, and we kind of just went out and did it. And so, but this one, you know, has a bigger scope, and I do want to get like the details about the culture like right, because my experiences like might not be everyone else's. So it was important for me to get other people's opinions, and I'm really grateful for you guys being here and you know, sharing, you know, your thoughts with it, because you know, I'm hoping that it connects with other people.
Yeah, it did with me. I absolutely enjoyed it very much. And you were able to find some humor in this dramatic story and the story full of trauma. Like you were able to find humor. So I appreciated that too, that it wasn't so like you know, I know it's supposed to be horror, like a horror,
Yeah.
but it wasn't scary, and it wasn't, you know, it was, yeah, it was such a touching story. And when you were able to find the humor in certain parts of it, I really appreciated that, you know, that it wasn't just so like, you know, like grave, you know, the
for sure, yeah,
subject matter, but not in a mood that it, as an audience member, as a reader, I wasn't like, I didn't feel heavy afterwards.
for sure, yeah. I mean, I think that was a conscious effort too, because with the subject matter, it could lean that way, and that just, I didn't want it to feel like a bummer or like a burden. And I think I wanted everyone to connect with the family, and in order to do that, you kind of need some levity to be able to connect and to like people. And I wanted to feel real too, so like you could find humor in like parts that, or I think it would be even more scary if it felt real. So like I think the first 30 pages there's like less scares than what's to come in the screenplay, in order to kind of earn that trust with the audience. That was kind of strategic, like thinking on when I was writing it too.
Okay. So let me see. I'll go to another question that has come from the interwebs. And let's see, what do we have here? So you actually touched on this a little bit. You said you will have another reading, and a question is coming is, do you have any development plans for the script, or what are your development plans for the script?
Well, Sebastian and Chelsea, I hope will help me make it out here in California. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I make movies that are pretty small, but for this one, I'm hoping to get more funding and more help. That was kind of like the big lesson in making the first film. Like, it kind of proved that we could do it if we just, you know, hustled our way to creating it. But I want to see like what we can do with like more resources and more a bigger scale, especially since this is like a genre. And it's a specific genre because it has to do with, you know, specific things like being a Vietnamese refugee, or you know, it has more angles, I think, are slightly more marketable. So hopefully more people are interested in like a financial standpoint. But yeah, that's where I'm going, like developmentally, just making it with people I love to work with, and to yeah.
Okay,
we're ready whenever.
Okay, there you go. You got your crew, your team together.
Yep.
Oh, check.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's also really from this process, like to see how many you know, Vietnamese actors and creative people that is there to support a project like this, and that's really encouraging, because there wasn't that many before, and now I feel like there's a lot of like resources and people that are really talented and eager and creative, that people who like look like me. So it's great.
Yeah, it is. I have another question here for you, Kevin. This one says, hey there, I have a question about gender roles. Asian cultures get a lot of flack for having weaker roles for women. I thought the women in your reading seemed a little weaker personality-wise than the men. Did you do that intentionally? And if so, why?
Ooh, that's interesting. I did that. I was well, no, that wasn't intentional. So it's a interesting reading because I have two older sisters and tons of cousins that are like, I think my closest friends are women. So I think I was trying to make them more emotional. That's why the main characters are women, and the mom, so it's interesting to hear that. I do think that Vietnamese women are, like, from my experience in my family at least, are treated a certain way, but actually behind the scenes are the most powerful parts of the family and the engine of the family. And so that's why I'm exploring that in the screenplay. So it's interesting to hear that they've felt that way. So maybe, I'm not sure if that was like a goal or not, but I don't know. What do you guys think, who are Vietnamese in this group?
I see a lot of that in today's, unfortunately, I think if the Vietnamese people here are like more Americanized, you might not see it as much. But when I go to Vietnam, even in today's dynamic, I think the women are still treated, lesser per se. So like my extended family there, whether it's uncles or male cousins, they still expect the women to sort of like do their part, do their role or whatever it is, and they get to sort of sit and do either the job part or get to sit and relax while the women go and take care of the miscellaneous things around. And like you said, that is, from the cultural standpoint, I think that's the background strong point of women that's not really seen. The surface level stuff is seen. So that's why maybe it looks like some of the women seem weaker per se, even though I don't personally think that's the case. Without some of my female cousins and my aunts and whatever it is, like none of us in the family would hold strong per se.
For sure. Yeah, definitely the glue of the family, at least for mine.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I could relate to both Kevin and Quan. I think that on the surface, some Vietnamese women are, for lack of a better way, like treated less. Like for example, like, we're all like, well, I shouldn't say all, but like traditionally speaking, like I feel like families want like a firstborn son, right? Their firstborn to be a son. And so that's an example right there, right? They're not really, and then, but like Kevin said with behind the scenes, like they're keeping everything together. So you did mention it in the screenplay with like this, like having to go through all of that. Like they had to carry all of that all these years. So that shows strength to me. Is like I can relate to that. My mom was like pregnant during the Vietnam War and left behind a son. Like now that I'm a mother, I can't even imagine that. But like I can feel her pain. So like the strength in carrying it is I guess what I'm saying. And like I don't know, sorry, I'm not being very articulate.
No, it's true. I'll have to look at that note again and when I make revisions, because I do want it maybe to discuss how maybe women are treated in Vietnamese communities, but I wanted to feel authentic. And so that's a weird challenge because I actually think the opposite, that the women are the most powerful part in a Vietnamese family.
sorry, I mean, maybe one thing that you can look at, but I don't know if it's necessary, but that part where sorry, I'm getting the characters' names mixed up, but where the brother is asking for money and he goes to the brother-in-law. He doesn't go to his sister because he knows that his sister like will probably give him like a hard time for it.
Right.
So that right there is like, and then she does go to her husband and say, why did you give it to him? Like, why are you, what's the word, enabling him, right? So that showed some strength right there.
So I think in I mean, at least in a traditional family, that it's like the man will control how to spend the money, you know, like, so that's kind of like how, the way I came from, but she does have more say in their relationship than, you know, I think is presented.
How long did it take you to write this, Kevin? Like, have you been working on this for a few years, or?
I started like at the beginning of quarantine, like last March. Yeah, but I've been thinking about like what would be like an all Asian American horror film, and what that would look like, and what would it be about, and that's kind of the initial spark. And then I only know how to be Vietnamese, and so that's like kind of like what scares me about my childhood, or it kind of like is a reflections of all these things, of all these anxieties, of all these things that I haven't dealt with, like my own kind of like identities of why am I scared to ask my parents certain questions, why all that kind of stuff. So that's where it began. And then I think I wrote it like, I don't know, I'm a pretty quick writer, I don't know, like a month or two of like the first draft, and then slowly kind of showing people and getting more notes. And yeah, it's kind of the process has been so far. I haven't worked on it in a while. I was kind of waiting for this workshop to happen, and I'm sure from this conversation and from, you know, the feedback, that I'll jump into it again, like kind of quickly.
Very impressive. I would love to. I have your email, so after you develop it some more, I'd love to hear it read again.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I'm really interested in their family and to see what happens to these family members. I haven't read past the first 41 pages, but still very interested in to see how you continue to develop their story.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Are there any other questions or comments or observations or anything you'd like to share with Kevin before we wrap up?
Way to go.
Yeah, congratulations. Yes.
Yeah, thanks,
congrats,
guys.
Kev.
Really.
Keep up. Good work, Kev. I love it.
Thanks. No, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to be interested and to listen and to talk to me about it. It really means a lot. As a, like, you sometimes, like, as an artist, you feel like you're just kind of like making things and you're like, why? Who's interested? Like, why? And so this is like the first time to get like feedback this early. It's really encouraging and super motivating. So I really appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Thank you for sharing your script with us. Really enjoyed working with you.
Jaclyn, thank you so much for all your help. Like, she helped me cast it and put on all these Zooms. So thank you.
You're very welcome. It was my pleasure. And if there are, I just want to say, if there are any writers who are interested in having their scripts read and to also participate in a workshop, please email us at unfinishedworks@filmlab.org and we can get the conversation started. And I wanted to thank you, Kevin, again, and to thank the actors for reading, and then thank you,
thank you
for joining us this evening, and thank you for your time. So it was really great to meet you all.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Best of luck.
Thanks.